Фу, так, вроде началось. Всем привет. Короче, смотрим мы сейчас на данный момент G2 и Heroic. К сожалению, не успел начать стрим, когда, только началась игра. Пока что 0-0 по картам, но выигрывает G2. Это правда, сейчас, подождите. Так, ну что ж, смотрим. Так, я себя сделаю немного тише, а это немного громче. Все, отлично. Let's go смотреть. Так, ну, все. Так, что там Моноси сделал, я ничего не понятно. Ох, не успевает забрать Моноси. Отлично. Так, куда пойдут G2? G2 пойдут на, получается, на... Ну, они разделились. Ага, но это, походу... Да. Давай, Моноси. Можно, давай. Ну, Моноси. Савик берет. Моноси. Пока что Тесс. Ой-ой-ой, неудачный пик. Забирает Хантер. Размен происходит на Хантера. Ситуация 3 в 4. Молик от Ника. Ой, Моноси. Молик. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой! Моноси через смог убивает! Отлично! Уф! Моноси подбирает калаш. Так, отходит. Все, бомба поставлена. Все, хорош. 12-9. Счет по картам. Ну, по картам еще 0-0. По картам 0-0. Давайте посмотрим, как тут подсадка. Бам! Раз. Вырубает подсадку. Через смог дает. Это ванвей. Бам! Два. Ника еще забирает одного. Молодцы. Я болею за G2, я не знаю. Это игра, если не ошибаюсь, за выход в плей-офф. Да. Это за выход в плей-офф. Так, смог решает бросить, но совершенно обходит от... И один опорник, всего лишь один опорник на получается, где? На А существует, это Нердс, но потихоньку начинает стягиваться. Никос... Угу. Так, еще один смог залетает. Хукси контролит Хукси. Так, зажимает. И это совершенно невыгодная позиция для Хера. Так что, к сожалению, либо к счастью, да, к счастью, этот раунд, хотя... Стоп! Что? Успевает? Да. 12-10. Это было реально жестко. Я тут что-то немного прям сказала наперед. То, что невыгодная позиция для херосов. Но тут прям сотворили. Молодцы, респект. От меня респект. Молодцы, молодцы. Моноси уже дает килл какой-то. Я тут ничего не начал смотреть. Некса выходит на А. Совершенно пустое плент А. К сожалению, без бомбы, потому что кто там на седьмой? Ника пошел на Б, а на Б уже дофига опорников. Ситуация 3 в 4. Так. Ника рядом с Нерцем. Некса. О, Манесси забирает первого. Ситуация 2 в 4, и это совершенно невыгодно. Сейчас бы скажу, сейчас тут все разнесут опять, но, к счастью, нет. Да. Забирают же эту карту. Это карта, ну, это карта под названием Анисент. Молодцы, молодцы. Ну что ж, сделаем небольшой перерыв, пожалуй. Моноси, конечно, здесь очень сильно раздал. Поэтому, так. Так. Хочу вам сказать то, что... Сейчас, секунду. Ну что ж, вот так вот пока что.
At the conclusion of the first half, it was G2, and at the conclusion of the map, it is G2. But albeit, Heroic make it very difficult. And by that, I mean everybody's fighting for a lifeline here in Do or Die Day on the last day of our groups. That being said, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters, everybody. We have one on our hands right now that it's got some sting to it.
Yeah, it was a pretty intense match. It was enjoyable to watch. I'm gonna be real with you, and I do think you mentioned first half. I think this is where the mission was accomplished for G2. This is where I could have imagined issues arising for the CT side, and I think they came up with pretty cool solutions. We're gonna talk about it later as well. A few setup switches here and there, and the 7 rounds just felt enough.
Yeah, very back and forth though, wasn't it? Right? It was a tough one to imagine which way it was going to go at the halfway point. I will say though, real effort by committee from G2. It didn't really feel like anyone went missing, which is a fantastic sign going forward.
Yeah, it does kind of help to paint the picture of like, hey, this is the G2 that we want to see.
That's the one you want to see.
And then for Heroic, you know, falling just short here on their map pick. Expected, not expected?
Ooh, tough to say. No, I think I had Ancient going Heroic's way, although I have G2 winning possibly in 3 maps. What I didn't really expect is the complete shutdown that happened in the second half. I mean, I think Heroic struggled massively to keep up with the change of pace, but I'm jumping the gun. That's music for later.
Oh, don't worry. We can get into some music right now. How about this B site? Like, what happened here?
Yeah, I really liked how HooXi synergized with different players and different setups throughout this entire game. We're going to see a couple of highlights here. His back-to-back play, sometimes with Nico, sometimes with m0NESY as well here. Overall, I think the B defense from G2 was extremely tested, which makes sense. It would have also been a weakness that I would have tried to target it had I played against G2. Obviously, that's not the case. Heroic tried that here, but we'll see. A little bit of aggression in the mix. That was here the double push ramp. That's once again Nico and HooXi here. Same thing. It's a back-to-back sort of two-punch combination when they strike and multi-kills arise once again. So it's happened in the cave as well. I really think that HooXi and G2 overall thought about, hey, how can we change things up on that site and make sure Heroic never really know the setup we have in paid dividends.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think on the other side of the coin as well, when we take a look at the T side, it was the same kind of a question mark for me, where G2, it felt like things weren't really going very well for them in the first couple of rounds of that half. And then again, you talk about adaptation, you talk about changing things up. They start hitting those bomb sites quickly and getting a little bit more of a contact play kind of a style coming through on that T side. And that's when they started to find some success as well. So we're starting to see some nice little change-ups coming through for G2 in a lot of these cases.
Some nice sparks of life that you really got to have when you're in the lower bracket. Like, it's really got to be like this. Let's look at that second half. Let's talk about round 16.
I think you were right on the money. There were some issues for G2 early on in the offense. We can have a look at round 16. That's a great example. We'll see here G2 trying to play the map control, being really contested and contained by Heroic. There's a couple of here exchanges happening. Mid-map has been taken, but weakness in the offense as well here. Tez sneaks in. There's no real trade. Hunter was a good second behind, so Tez is going to be able to survive. Shush, meanwhile, finds a gap again, pushes, catches next to it, pounds down, nerds into m0NESY. All of these kills are happening when G2 isn't ready to fight. It's a map control that is failed. It's Heroic who's making sure to catch G2 off guard. And what's happening after this, and that's the exciting point, is that G2 realized, wait, hold on a minute. Yeah. We don't need to play this Counter-Strike. I don't want to play none of that map control BS. How's about some contact plays, some first intention rush, simplifying the point of attack, and that worked for them.
I think it was the very next round, or the next couple of rounds. That
They
went straight into B, contact play, and then the very next round after that, they went straight into A, contact play, and both of those rounds worked fantastically. Some very, very nice entries coming through from Nico in particular, who, again, we highlighted at the start of that map and sort of said, okay, well, we want to kind of see that same trajectory continuing, and it seems like that was the case here on Ancient.
Speaking of trajectories, is anyone going to slow this m0NESY guy down?
I don't think it's happening.
Is it ever going to happen? Like, this guy really is putting in that bread and butter.
Definitely. A little bit Diesel-like, slow start here. CT side wasn't exactly necessary for him to step up, but have a look at the numbers on the T side. Oh my god. When G2 picked up the pace, you could definitely see what luxury it is to have m0NESY within your ranks, because he's capable of keeping up with the pace, keeping up with the attack, and finding those kills. Would it be with the rifle? Would it be with the AWP? He did that once again. And if there were moments on Knife's Edge on the T side for G2, that you can damn guarantee that m0NESY was here to close the door every single time.
For a guy that posted like 91.5% of the damage, you know, like that's a lot of damage going into every single round, right?
It is pretty cool.
Like that is actually what that'll catch up with you. If you're
I mean, he's doing it with the rifle, he's doing it with the AWP, he's doing it in the start of the round as well. It's not as if he's not having these sort of like impactful kills, you know, these are not throwaway frags or anything like that. I think 4 of the rounds in the second half there, m0NESY got the opening kill for G2, and obviously that puts them in a fantastic position when you're able to play the round out 4v5.
Just seen him swing out there on the A site and just kind of take that frag.
Yep. That is the point, right? Usually, or most snipers have a slower rhythm and pace to how they want to play the game. And as a leader, you have to sort of accept it. You have to set them up. You have to give them time and freedom to find the picks. m0NESY can just get on them roller skates and just follow you. He's going to follow you and find the trades or the opening kill. You, HooXi, you know he can play fast Counter-Strike. He's thriving in it.
Look, man, he's not wearing roller skates. I can assure you that they've got to be rollerblades, because this guy's just flying around. Speaking of which, we've got Heku flying around somewhere trying to catch up with the Heroic side. What'd they say?
All right, I had an opportunity to talk to So about what exactly happened. Well, we saw that in the second half, G2, even though they lost the first rounds, then they managed to bump up the speed, and they just kept on being unstoppable. So said, like, yes, like those retakes were really, really hard, and even though they managed to take one, the other ones were almost impossible. But there's more maps.
So, for Heroic, it's a reset. It's a really do or die now that you've got just one map left in the series potentially.
Yeah, and it is pretty dire because we're going to New York right now, and the last 2 times they played G2, obviously not only did they lose, but in the defense they felt like they were a little bit just outclassed.
Yeah.
Flat is maybe too harsh of a word, but still, it's 6 rounds and 7 rounds respectively lost on the defensive nuke. And the problem that I have is that I think the formula that worked on Ancient here for G2, which is picking up the pace, is something they're absolutely capable of doing on nuke as well. Like you'll see, whenever they feel like it, these fast inside plays, either straight from spawn or 10-15 seconds into the round with a couple of nice nades, they can do that. I don't know if Heroic can keep up.
Yeah,
that's where Nerds needs to thrive, right?
Well, definitely. I mean, I think not just Nerds. There's a couple of players on that Heroic roster that we can highlight that we would probably say need to step up from Ancient into Nuke. But I mean, look, I appreciate what Heroic is trying to do with the veto there. You know, they're changing things up in the last couple of series, but unfortunately what you can't do is you can't change up your permaban, and in doing so, that's going to allow, again, G2 to go back onto Nuke, which is, as you said, the map that they've won twice in a row. Will it be a 3rd time in a row? Well, my money's on yes. It certainly feels like it's going to be G2's night tonight for a 2-0, but I'll tell you what, I've been wrong on this analyst test before, and it might not be the first time, so
don't worry about it.
You're not going to be the last person either. I
100%.
promise you that much. Hey, we did, maybe we go into this, maybe not. I mean, Nico walks by. They don't want to play Vertigo, according
But
to
they
him.
don't.
And
No,
I can feel
they really
that.
don't.
I kind of don't even want to watch Vertigo, to be
I
honest.
think personally Nico probably hates that map, and I agree with him. There we
Okay.
go, I said it.
Oh, he said it, so it must be true. Hey, so does the series end here for you, Jordan?
yes, I think so.
You've
I
checked
think
it
so.
out.
I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I mean, why wouldn't you be as G2, right? With that history that they've shown. I mean, it's not that far away that we were looking at Katowice, and they were able to get those wins on the board. And as you said, they weren't even super tight. They were fairly comfortable victories. So it's looking pretty good tonight. I feel like all guns are blazing for G2. They've got their stars working in the case of Monty, and Nico's also showing up. I mean, we highlighted Hunter as well and said, what is he going to be able to bring to the table? I wasn't down on his output either. I don't think he had a bad game there on Ancient. So it feels like the G2 that we're getting tonight is the G2 that we want to see, and the G2 that will make it through to the playoffs.
Yeah, and they have the right level of intensity as well, right? It's not exaggerated, like they're not screaming around every round they win, but you can feel that there is a little bit of intensity, there is a little bit of will in there, a couple of like smiles and grins whenever they're winning rounds. In terms of vibe checks, it's where we want him to be.
Right where we want them to be. Or, well, perhaps where they want to be. Hey, look, we are going to go to a quick break here. As you can see, G2 taking back into the server. Heroic trying to find their way into this series. And so far, we do lead ourselves into Nuke. Heroic going to get that CT-sided start. We return. This is the Intel Extreme Masters.
At some point in every gamer's life, there's a question to be asked. Do your clothes match your hobby in any situation? Or do they just represent what you dream of? No matter what situation, there's always the right wear and the wrong. The only real question is, which are you going to choose? Decide for yourself.
Smokes. You see double smokes in the same place there. Simple just jumping casually into the side. Wait. What was that?
Never miss a play again.
Simple. It's not allowed. This is not FPL. This is a major.
Finally.
With Face It Watch, you're in control. Switch between player POVs live and see the game through the eyes of any pro. Never miss a moment with replays. Relive each highlight on demand from all angles. Watch it, control it, face it.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the major. I'm sorry. What kind of happened there? You guys were doing so well, and then after that complexity game, things really changed. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I will start with me. I just played really bad. I didn't feel any comfort zone during the tournament, and I will say it could be a game changer if I would play good. But as a team, I think like we learn a lot. Like we didn't communicate the best, but I would say for the next tournaments, like we learn a lot from this tournament.
So what's the mood like? Because you guys were playing well and you were on the way up, right? But you were still a relatively new team, not much experience as this lineup. So what was sort of the talk after the major?
Like the topic at least it was just enjoy the game. I think like in the major we were having fun. We just didn't hit our shots, at least me. But I know for a fact like we gonna be, I'm telling you, like top 5 in the world until remember my words, until the end of the season.
I believe you, man. I believe you. All right. Ciao, brate.
Ciao, brother.
We're not going to do this to all the people in the back. I wanted to ask you a little bit about this tournament. You guys are going up against Liquid first. They haven't played in a while, so as an in-game leader, you know, how does that change your approach when it comes to maybe preparation and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit harder than usual to prepare because obviously they haven't played for like a month or something. But still, at the end of the day, we will still try to play our game and focus on our things because we know that if we do that, we can beat anyone.
Liquid in the first game, have you given it any thought about that particular match?
Not too much because we have prep later, you know, so later I'm going to focus more on that. But for now, I'm just trying to feel the environment, you know, getting used to the time zone, stuff like that, and then I'll focus more on the game later.
And what would be for you personally, you know, what's your sort of goal for this tournament for your team?
I mean, I think we would like to make playoffs at least and just see how far we can go, you know. I think we can go all the way if we play our top level, so let's see how it goes.
All right, man. Thanks. Good luck. That was Team Heroic.
Well, G2 Heroic might be developing into one heck of a rivalry, one that Heroic have always receiving end of. G2 are in search of a three-peat victory over this Heroic squad, and seemingly always at pretty pivotal junctures, Hugo.
Yeah, opening game of Kado, closing game of the group at Kado, and now the same situation here at Chengdu. There is one more spot left in the playoffs, and G2 feel right before it. Nuke has been a go-to map for them, and Heroic now have to reverse sweep after losing their pick in the series. It will not be easy, but when is it ever easy in CS?
True.
Начинает Team Spirit за
Do you hear anything, or is this...
No, no.
Okay,
It's
give
okay,
me the
don't
sound
worry.
effects.
No, 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 that's your job.
Okay, I'll do it.
Ой, Team Spirit, блин.
Oh, they brought him back. I was so ready.
They put the pressure on. No one wants to hear you pew pew. It's instead P250 outside, and Glock's running down Nico Doz. He hits a nice one. Oh my god, he is in a lot of trouble right now, and he couldn't find a second target. 2 kills come to the good of G2. Big flank. Oh, and he takes the shot, but no connection. Not to the kill, at least. 3 on 4. Shush, this is a precarious position to play the dual Berettas. Bomb is still trapped to his right side. And while they've cleared the lobby, they know that G2 are slowing it down in the yard. They just can't get a grip on it. Back to main. Shush, aiming a far up close, he transfers. Nico will still get the kill, and Monacy's in heaven as well. Now the bomb can come through main, and G2 not in a bad position at all.
Oh, now Monacy able to get involved, and he spots out that last player as well. They know that Nerds has to make this rotate happen. He's going to try and beat them down the vent. Gets in just in time, but Nico a little faster, and that pistol round, well, it's sort of the ancient story all over. It's Nico and Monacy stepping up and getting the job done for G2. Got to say, the vibe is looking good in the G2 camp right now. If we look over at Heroic, the ones that are tasked with having to recover this, for me, it's going to be important that, one, Nikodos doesn't start 0-9 again.
Well, he's already off to a better start.
I know, he's already doing better with 1.
Every little counts.
But also, just think, even down to that matchup yesterday, how important and how much better Heroic look when both Nikodos and Nerds are looking good on this map. I think it really frees up some of their options. These two are the ones that kind of swap out those yard duties. Sometimes you'll see Nerds start off over towards heaven and then Nikodos takes it. In rounds where he doesn't, they might double up outside. Sometimes Nerds gets aggressive and Nikodos is the one playing that rotate area. But they're gonna be paramount here if Heroic do want to recover.
Contact ramp. Tessus' deep down secret. G2 won't make noise. They just use this to take hell control, and Nikodos finds out the hard way. And not only out, they are in with another round, it seems, looking to convert on their pistol. Vent drop is heard, so they're ready for a player at single door. Plant. An exit will come in, but ultimately stress-free for G2 on their conversion for now. Monacy is very good at the game. If you didn't know.
Yeah, he's part of a very exclusive club, really. It's just kind of him and Donk at the top end of the stats.
No, not even just the stats, just the eye test. But the stats as well. Well, if I can see clearly, I see a 2-0 for G2. Whether that's in the map or series remains to be seen. Maybe both. Heroic are going to have to dig deeper than ever before in this game. A team that had a fantastic debut to this year, right? Think about the Katowice. They beat Astralis in the play-in. They beat Vitality. Suddenly, it felt like this team could be a lot stronger than just the pieces on paper, but choked it at the major. Sure, great win over FaZe, nothing else in the elimination stage. And it's still hard to put your finger on how good this team is, but failing to make yet another playoff for Heroic would be disappointing for what they probably believe their level can be.
Yeah, I mean, you even heard Nerds in that interview piece with Yanko that played during the break say we're going to be a top 5 team at the end of the season. And he said, mark my words, you can remember that. So, and he's had faith in this squad since the very beginning. It was him back in Kato who was giving all the interviews saying, I think we're going to make a run here. That was fresh off the formation of the squad. Like, you didn't even really know where to place Heroic. And as you say, they had some very legit wins at Kato. Of course, locked out of playoffs by this G2 team, who are now looking to do it again.
Yeah, and right now, it's a great start to this T side on a very comfortable map for G2. Nico's nailing them. Monacy 2. Now we have G2 getting ready for his upper pop. Hunter can split main. There's only Kixon in the sight. Got a good gun for the job, but what a job he's got to do. Up the vent with the flash. Kixon gives it away. Shush. Oh, that's a surprise, but he can't convert it. And Monacy gets both openers. Nikodos has fallen in, but not long for this round. 3-0. Easily done for G2 Flawless. Now the buy comes out. Integral Heroic start early. When we saw them styling on this map the other day, like you said, it was that 1-2 punch of Nikodos and Nerds outside. Some very aggressive outside rounds from Nikodos' AWP. Even Nerds flanking lobby at times. But if you consider who you're up against on those outside T-control rounds, it is Nico. No easy feat.
АДР у него, к сожалению, всего лишь 12.
Executal getting thrown in while Hooksy tries to make a play, and it's a drive-by, doesn't quite get the second. Nearly good for the kill to kick Sam, but nearly won't cut it here. He's able to get out into main. Flooding over him. Nikodar's in at the back of the site now. All that stands between them and it as his teammate rotates in through heaven. G2 come to a bit of a halt here. They know where both players are now. And so with that info, they're going to react quickly. m0NESY makes it down the vent. Simon Hunter taking all this space over towards Hell. They're trying to toy with HEROIC, and they have split the defense. Nikodar's kind of has to react by taking lobby control here. When it goes quiet like this, it's the only option he's left with. But that will open up this top site for G2.
This is weird though, because m0NESY has the bomb, so Hunter will just say, I don't know, I can't find him. He's got to be here somewhere. He's probably in lobby. m0NESY still has to cross, so Hunter trades with him. m0NESY hits the shot. That's out of nowhere. Free plant. And Tesses, who had to at least consider that B was an option, has been dragged back up into the unknown. 1v2, and they've taken their positions. Only dangerous, this plant isn't necessarily for the hut. Tesses could get a full stick off. Let's see how he opts. They wrap door, and that will allow them to just swing it together. m0NESY is lights out. Another 2K from him. G2 just keep the good times rolling.
Yeah, it all started back on that first map of Ancient with Nico kind of getting the ball rolling, but the moment m0NESY got switched on, it felt like he didn't slow down throughout the remainder of that game. A real late game activation. And he's brought that momentum with him into the second map now. And that is, the whole prospect that makes G2 still tantalizing is that they're able to do so much when it's only m0NESY who's consistent. If you do start getting mileage out of Nico, then how much better does this team get? If Hunt is able to start delivering in key matchups again, how far could G2 go, right? Like, even managing to make a run at the major, largely on the back of m0NESY.
I like what HEROIC do here, because they take lobby and sure, Nexa hears it, but they don't hang around. They immediately drop double lower and reset. They're going to have a lot B, and very quickly as well. So G2 need to put a lid on this round right here, right now, and it's not coming easily. Good flash play. Nico can't convert the second. 2v4. HEROIC full control now with the bomb and guns upgraded. That's great, because the call from G2 just comes off the back of hearing like 2-3 in lobby. They just rush B, but HEROIC were just as quick down lower after making their presence known. They don't wait for G2 to retake lobby. No, they know exactly what the reaction will be. But don't count G2 out. It's a weird clutch round. Maybe now you can. Nexus trapped a long way out.
It all kind of hinged on Hunter finding something there. That would have opened up a route for Nexa to try dropping the vent, catch them as they're looking to deal with Hunter. With him falling immediately to Nertz's 3K, there's no winning this for Nexa, and he knows it. Will Nertz be able to round it out with a fourth? Nexa's really put himself in the firing line down here at B, and he realizes, I don't really want to be here. So he'll go creeping away, looking to hold on to this rifle at least, but a key round for HEROIC to win, and not one that they were supposed to. Nice idea cooked up by Kixan. Very well handled for Nertz, who was constantly under pressure there down towards that lower site. So the form of Nertz, still not looking like something we can doubt. He certainly had some quieter performances since their year started back in Kato. We haven't seen tremendous consistency around it, but he's looking in form for this game right now.
Он потратил 4000, а остается у него 5500. Ну, отличная.
G2 going to go back to this outside control this time, a little slower. That does give time to Nikodos to creep up on this AWP.
3 с чем-то. Потому что у него остается всего лишь 800, да, и в прошлом раунде он не экономил.
Oh, look at the fake out. AK is ready in main though. It's a perfect gun for the job. He hears him running. Kixan knows what's coming, and he does deal with m0NESY on the front. Hunter with the bomb. It's at least info for HEROIC. They know that G2 are never going lower. Nico gets a responding kill, but it's still Kixan disappearing into the mist. Can he take lobby? potentially even backstab. Nex is making his presence known, so this is just G2 looking for kills and they're not coming in. Finally, Nexa turns around to punish that flank. 2v3, bomb coming through main, Shush in the open, in a world of hurt, and Nexa hits a nice headshot. Suddenly, G2 have got reason to believe.
Tesses is on for this ramp push, but Nex has hit every shot that's been needed so far in this round, and that's the one that eludes him. Can't quite complete the kill to Tesses. Nikodos made noise in the vents, but that flash out in the yard will signal to Nico where Nikodos has ended up at. And with Tesses so low, it feels like it's on Nikodos to win this round for Heroic. Nico now knows where both players are. Swinging on out, Tesses offered up, and Nikodos is jumpy, jittery, trying to land the pre-fire. Nico goes swinging, and it's clinically done between him and Nexa to turn that one back around into G2's favor.
This is business for G2. They are not sweating. Nico does not look stressed in that clutch. He plays it to perfection, never jumping the gun on the hot swing either, knowing he has a very good position for that post plant.
That's a 2v4 turnaround from G2.
Solid work. Poor Kixon, who gets a double opener, makes the right play in lobby, but Nexa turns just in time.
5-1 по счету. Сейчас с экономикой прям будет прекрасно. Все, думаю, у Ника.
Yeah, everything's flowing for G2 now. It does feel like they could become unstoppable in this game.
А что у Ника? У Ника все прекрасно.
Like one series where Nico and Monesi both top the charts for G2, and you can't even keep up with them.
Закуп был 20... Сколько? Закуп у Ника был на всего лишь 500. Это... ну да, действительно. У него осталась одна граната.
Hunter gonna try his hand at a fast round out through the door. Util to support him, and they just bludgeon this top side. Nert's dead. So that's the round already done. Heroic left saving. That's a fast top side exec from G2.
What a confidence call that is, right? G2 have a deep strat book, a deep playbook on this map. They've got the experience, they've got the wins to back it up. And when you're winning clutches like that, you know you have Heroic on their back. And G2 just execute. Instant A-rush. The entries come through for Nexa, and there is nothing left to do for Heroic but save. It's just a sign of the times there for G2. And now, in the back of Heroic's mind, the G2 can pull that off any round they want. Crosshair was there, but Nikodos keeps his orb.
Look at that little smirk on Taz's face.
He knows it's happening.
Yeah. He knows when a team has entered that plow mindset.
Yeah.
It's nice as well, because actually you see Taz looking pretty stressed in the G2 jersey. A lot of the time he's kind of having to pick everyone up and be the guy keeping them dialed in, but right now G2 are doing it themselves.
Wearing a G2 jersey takes years off your life, whether you're a player or a fan. Oh, and the pressure of that potential back-to-back A-rush gives Hooksy room to drop down vent. When they see the door they come, they get scared of a rush. Hooksy is now down below. This is a nice position for Nikodos, and with Nerds covering above, Heroic can stop the meeting Hooksy down B. Nikodos won't remain forever, and they'll hear that run away as well, so G2 know they have room as they go for a standard wall of smokes. Tess is exploring the B site. They know for certain Hooksy is down vent, so they know they can't drop down this point of rotation. G2 really going into an A split. Hooksy's coming up. This is ballsy. But it just might work.
Heroic have bodies here, but it's Hooksy surprising Nikodos. He wasn't ready. Okay, that happened. And Heroic actually might win this round now.
Oh, he's got the bomb.
Bomb dropped at Kicksan's feet. And a weird exchange over towards the CT vent. So Hunter and Hooksy have got to cook it up. You've seen Nico deliver rounds, you've seen Monesi do it, but how will the rest of them fare? They're going to try and pressure Kixan in the lobby, but Hunter has been slowed as he hears them dropping out from the heavens.
Oh, no way he gets that one, and he knows that Shush dropped as well. Hunter, masterclass on the A site. Look at it, just finish the job, and that is beautiful from Hunter. That may be the best round from him all tournament. Wow. Absolutely threaded the needle on that play, and that's another comeback round for G2. Was that a 2v4 as well? 2v3 and 2v4. My oh my. Miraculous. And this is the G2 when they're performing, everyone performing to the level that these names would suggest. Pulling off these clutch rounds, Hooksy in the heads with some fast calls. I can't believe they get Hooksy down vent. They throw the wall, they go for an A split, and despite that, Nikodos still somehow gets 2 kills out because they're fumbling with Molotovs to burn him out of vent. He gets 2 kills with the orb. Still no problem. Okay, G2.
Yeah, this one's looking very, very good for the G2 squad, isn't it? Hunter even got a fist bump. I don't think he's had one of them in months.
Nice position again for Nerds. They will be able to get to red though. Nothing you can do about that. Oh, Hooksy. Oh. Lazy clear. Lazy clear. It will cost you. Cost you your life and maybe more. Nerds mauls them! My oh my! Can't take them all. Nikodos taps out Nico and Heroic. Flash in the pan, but a fire started nonetheless.
Yeah, beautifully done from Nerds to recognize the opportunity that he's been given there. Takes all he can out of the round, and it's flawless for Heroic. Out of all the ways to try and recover it, a 7-1 scoreline, sticking the landing on your first rifle round flawlessly is not a bad start. And because these last few rounds, even though G2 have been winning them, they've come down to clutches, right? You've had 2 players surviving, 3 players, 1 player. They've all been very expensive. So that money is not infinite for G2. Far from it, in fact. They lose this round, suddenly Heroic starts streaking them together. And this game tightens up.
G2 snuffed that out before it even begins. The wall comes down. Nico's walking through the smoke. Oh, finally punished for these fake outside rounds. And fortunate that nade lands a little bit short and allows a cross for Hunter into garage. And he could do something with this for sure. He's going to play late, let that ramp stack go in first.
Awkward for Monacy. Caught lining up the util, and that's a nice freebie for Tesses to pick up.
Is gaining ground.
Might have to be the hero again. Ooh, Nikodos makes noise going up the ladder. Yeah, no idea that Hunter's here, but just turning to deal with it now. Nikodos, good timing on that. So this one kind of peters out for G2. He makes it down the vent, but not for long. They've already got a player down there, and so Heroic